before I decided to put aside the pre-recorded episodes to dedicate the month of June. So I'm really excited. I'm going to be releasing her episode this upcoming Tuesday. So me and her are going to be chatting in 1 second, and she's in. I'm trying to give people a few seconds to log in first, but I will be adding in Erica in a few minutes. And like I said, she's a real sweet person, and we recorded a very, very, very nice episode. She has a great platform called Give a Sister a Hug. So she's going to be talking about that. It's really sweet and very empowering. And, that's what I'm all about, positivity and empowering everyone. So I'm just trying to give some people a few minutes to log in, and then I'll be adding Erica. But I'm trying to give people a few minutes to log in. And Erica and I are going to have a nice conversation. We're going to be leading up to the episode that I will be releasing next Tuesday, which is, like I said, is very empowering. And I think we can all use some positivity. So that's the whole purpose of the Q chat. It's the whole purpose of just connecting with other sisters. It's the whole purpose of just giving people a chance to just listen to some happiness. And, so that's what the Q chat is all about. Thank you, Kia. I got my natural out today, so I didn't do much to it today at all. So we have a few people that's joining in, so I'm going to be adding Erica right now. So just an FYI, so these lives are actually available at any time. So, if anyone misses this one, if they want to watch some past ones, I definitely advise to watch some of the past ones. The show is really growing. I just thought just came up with it at the top of my head to just do like the follow-up lives. Of course, D-Nice during the quarantine kind of made lives really popular. So, I just decided to start doing a weekly live to either lead up to episodes that I had already recorded, so it can kind of be like a shameless plug for people to go back and listen to them, or for times like this to kind of lead up to some nice episodes upcoming. Like I said, me and Erica have a really nice one. Thank you. Just got a compliment about my hair, so I'm going to add in Erica right now. So she'll be logging in 1 second. I just added her in. So it's connecting. Hey.
Hey.
Hey, girl. Hey. How you
Hey,
doing?
good. How you making out today?
Good. I'm so happy we got to connect, because
Yes.
yesterday I was like, oh, I said the weather. So for people that, if you guys don't live down here, at me and Erica, we live in Louisiana, and the weather does not play around.
Oh no, it was storming on yesterday. It was like
Yeah.
dark. It was really dark.
Right. It was the lightning that I was like, I don't think we're going to be able to go live.
We lost power for maybe about 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, we can just do it tomorrow. I was like, that weather just had me like freaked out. I was like, I don't think it's going to work.
And then, God knows, the internet, anything could have happened at the time. So
Right. I just kept thinking, I'm like, we're going to go live and like get struck by lightning.
and it just go boom. Everything just shut.
Right. So I was like, I don't think it's going to work. I felt bad because I was like so excited, and I feel like something always happens. So like an FYI too for people, me and Erica were actually supposed to record a podcast, oh my God, months ago.
Right.
But when we were scheduled, it was like when my anxiety was through the roof with the virus, and I messaged good sis Erica, and I was like, girl, I can't do it today. I said, I'm so sorry. I was like, I can't. Like, I was all over the place. And if anyone like listens to the show regularly, like I said, a lot of my episodes are actually pre-taped. So thank God I had just happened to record so many, so that like when the virus got nuts, everything
You was able to put
done.
a lot out, yeah.
Right. So I got a chance to get my mind right, because I just was like, I can't do this.
That was okay. I mean, we all go through right now. I think we all having our fair share of anxiety, because I do sometimes too. Because my biggest worry, like I know everybody should know that I take care of my mama, and my mama is elderly, and just worrying about making sure making sure she eating right, keeping people from around her, making sure she taking her vitamins, and it's not always easy for someone that's in their 70s.
Right.
And she's a very diva.
I totally understand. My mom's 77 and my dad is 81. And they're in New Orleans, and I'm in Slidell, and then I'm quarantining. Then my mom is still recovering from the virus. So anybody that's listening that thinks this virus is like a game, it's not. She had that
It's
virus in March.
serious.
It's July and she's still recovering. Like it's nothing to play with. So
we lost a close family member
mm,
to the virus. So
yep.
it's really serious. Like
It is.
we should not be playing with it, because I learned myself that maybe before this I had an asthma attack and the doctor thought I already had it.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's like it's serious.
It
People
is.
walking around just not wearing their mask,
Right.
and they're taking it as a joke. And I'm thinking that maybe because they haven't hit their home, but
Yeah.
I mean, I would look at maybe not hitting my home, but the people around me, or
Right.
people somewhere else that their family is suffering real bad behind them. So
Right.
this is really not no game. It's like
It's
affecting
not.
everybody. It's affecting everybody's lives in one way or another.
It is directly or indirectly. So,
Yeah.
I just hope people can be smarter about it because it's really serious. And my mom has taught that I don't think there's a, every time we get on the phone, she'll mention, I don't wish this on anybody.
Right, I bet.
She said, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. She's like, I wasn't in pain, but she's like, I just couldn't do anything, and they
I
thought
bet
she
it was
wasn't
just
going to
so
make
much
it.
of her energy that was taken
Right.
away from that.
Exactly. So even now, one of my friends was shocked when I said that she had to relearn how to walk. And I was like,
Wow.
what do you think happens when you have like something that serious and you almost lose your life? Like,
Right, and then she's
but
probably in a bed all that time. And
right.
when older, I find, with older people, when my mom have rheumatoid arthritis in her spine.
See, my
So
mom has arthritis too.
So if she's in a bed a day or two,
Yeah.
it is so hard. And then she have lymphedema, so it's really hard. So I have to keep her moving her limbs and stuff. So I can only imagine what having a virus that's attacking your systems and all that. That's that's a really bad thing. And people just don't understand. Like, it's serious. This serious. This is not nothing to play with.
Right. So that's why I'm like, when people don't wear their mask out, and people like, Facebook, which I've said a billion times, I can't stand Facebook. But,
Right.
I hate Facebook.
And me myself personally, I live right across the street from Walmart. I used to love going to Walmart every day. It's like it takes a whole lot for me to. Number one, I have a problem because I have asthma.
Yeah, me too.
It's hard for me to wear that mask all day, and then you can't take it off for a little while because you got everybody around you that's not wearing masks. So you have to be very, very cautious, yourself. Right. So it's just like it's hard sometimes. Right. But you can't let it just take over. You still have to, kind of live on not normal life, but somewhat the new norm. And I say this all the time. I think with the pandemic, it changed us. Just like Katrina changed our life, this changing our life. And I think it's for the best because there's just so much was going on. And me, myself, personally, like, this have been, and I don't want to say it as lightly, but my heart goes out to all the people that we lost during the virus, during this whole thing, pandemic. But I think it have changed my life in a major way. Like, I look at things a little bit different now, whereas I'm just playing it for the week. I'm playing it just for the day. Yeah. Like, I'm really enjoying these moments of just that day, because at one time we just was moving, going. And now it's just like, let me enjoy the moment because we're not guaranteed tomorrow.
Yeah, that is true. So that's why, like, I kind of took it like, let me really try and focus on some goals that I was kind of like, I wasn't like really in a big rush to do it, because I'm like, I'll get to it. But now I'm like, well, heck, I may not have all the time. I think I have. Like, not to.
And that's what I did too. Like, some things I worked on too during this pandemic that I wanted to do before and I couldn't do it because you have so much going on in life. So I wanted to work on my next book, which is going to be coming out pretty soon. And it's called Sister, I Got Your Back. And the reason why I come up with this book because I know in one way or another, we all have been in a domestic violence relationship. And I shared that in my first book, The Journey. And The Journey was basically about my life. And I was in a domestic violence situation. So we have to have that sister or that friend that have our back during this time. So that's basically what my book is. Like, this girl, she just moved to the city and she met her neighbor, and her neighbor was, you know, they was the same age, close around age, but she was going, her boyfriend actually relocate her, move her from her family to New Orleans, and her and the girl next door became good friends, and she was her only support system, and they became best friends, and he ended up killing her. And it was just like a whole other thing. So I envision my whole little story in my head because we all need that sister, and that's why I come up with hashtag give a sister a hug, because right now we going through a pandemic, and even though we're not face to face but doing virtually, it gives other women around the world to know that I want them to know that you're not alone. I'm with you. We on this journey together. We gonna go through the ups, the downs, the roller coasters, and everything else together.
It's important.
Because you need that person that you can look to say, okay, if she have a smile today, I can have a little smile. And I encourage, like I talk about all the time, if you're sad, live in that sad moment, because it's okay to be sad, because as women, we try to hold our little sadness in, but we have to live in that moment. We have to be sad sometimes. It's okay. But just know that being sad that day and at that moment, we could be there, but let's get up tomorrow or the next 2 hours and let's get it together. Let's adjust our crowns and get it together.
Yes. And that's why, like,
okay.
I'm glad you said that, because that's why, like, you know, with the Q chat, the pandemic, like, I felt like I had more time to really work on that platform, you know, which was to empower people, which was to let people know, hey, you don't have to have shame for anything you've been through. That's why I always try to be transparent over the stuff I've been through. Yeah, I've been in an abusive relationship. Yes, I've dealt with depression. Yes, I battle anxiety almost every single day. You know, yes, I've had highs and lows financially. There was a point in my life I was going through a nasty custody battle with my ex-spouse. Boo, I couldn't even afford Netflix, okay? You know, and I don't have any shame in expressing it. Like, why not? Because as long as you don't stay stuck in that moment, and it's okay no matter what stage you're in. That's why I've been doing the Daily Crown Jewels on my other page, just to inspire people and let them know, don't be ashamed of whatever stage you're at right now. Okay, if you're in the stage right now, you're trying to figure out what to do with your life, it's perfectly fine.
It's okay.
And if then let's say you're at a stage right now where maybe you can help the next person, do it. It's not going to take anything away from you. And that's why we're all here, to be stewards. We should always help the next person. But don't be ashamed of your journey.
Your story may motivate the next person. Your story may motivate me to get to where I need to go at. Our stories all have meanings to every. It may be something small, maybe something big. You know, I was telling my story about me taking care of my mom. I didn't know a 16-year-old. I talked to a 16-year-old was taking care of her mom that has what is it, Alzheimer's, like 16 years old. You know, so you just never know who's gonna hear your story. And I'm not ashamed of it, and I say all the time, me myself personally, yes, taking care of my mama is a lot. And I was out working full-time job. 14 years I've been on my job, taking care of my mom and doing everything else. I wouldn't change it for the world. And I mean, I wouldn't give it up for nothing in the world. Like, sometimes I look at it as my dad passed away in 2010. And I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I was a spoiled brat. My daddy was in the army. My mom, like, they took care of me. So I don't say I'm glad my daddy gone, but losing my dad and having to take on that big responsibility made me grow up. It was hard. Like, I'm not gonna even lie. In the beginning, I'm like, oh Lord, it was just like my life changed in a matter of seconds. But I had to put my big girl drawers on, and let's get it. Either I was gonna sink or swim. I was gonna either lose my mama and she go to the nursing home, or you know, I was gonna get it together. So I had to put my big girl drawers on, and I did it. And let me tell you, every day in the beginning, it was a struggle, but I got through it. You know, I never gave up. One thing about Erica, Erica don't give up on herself as easy, like, because I have some days that I cry, believe me.
Yeah.
I have those days I cry because I was scared, because I went from a child that was, all I had to do was get up in the morning and go to work in school, to a child that was taking on big old major responsibilities, like taking care of my mom. And I have major responsibilities. My nephews, they depend on me a lot. So it's like you having that big old responsibility. It's a lot you go through. Yeah. So it's okay to cry. I my pillow be wet sometimes, because I have those times, but it's okay though. We need that. That's like a cleansing.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's one of the things I wanted to ask during the live. Cause like I said, even during our episode that we recorded, that's going to be released next Tuesday, we talked about having anxiety and just having those moments. So how do you handle your anxiety? Because I'm sure they have people listening right now, and I always tell people, like, never be ashamed of having anxiety or depression.
I was experiencing panic attacks, and I didn't know what that was, because I didn't know, like, what is panic attacks? Like, I was just sat down sometimes. I was at work. Right after my dad passed, I was at work, and I just bust out and started crying. Like, I was like, what the hell is wrong with me? I didn't know. I actually went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, you having a panic attack. And what I do is, as far as like calming myself down, try to get somewhere. I'm the type of person, like, I can help you. I'll be your listening ear. But for me, I like to be in a place where I'm by myself. And I like to just have that time, that quiet time, to get myself together.
Right.
Because I got to focus. Because if I fall apart, all of the dominoes behind me going to fall down. So I have to. So what I do is I take time to meditate. Meditation, Lord, it has helped me a lot, because I meditate a lot even during this time now, because it'll, like, everything will get to you. So I meditate. I have learned to pick up my Bible more and read to help me calm down. So that's how I deal with my anxiety. Like, it could get crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, it really can.
Right. I totally understand. So with your anxiety too, and I know, like you mentioned, give a sister a hug. So for people who, and I'm definitely we're gonna make sure everyone knows how to follow you, especially like when they listen next Tuesday. But just tell everybody that's listening what started you to just start with the whole give a sister a hug. So for people that's listening, you also have your YouTube channel, and you do lives as well. So just give everybody, and I know you touched on it a little bit, but give everybody the full background on what inspired you to do the Give a Sister a Hug.
Well, the Give a Sister a Hug is basically kind of based off of my book. Sister, I Got Your Back. But I thought about it because we all, and I wanted to do it virtual, because I felt like we all we all in this pandemic together. So how can I help the next person, or how can we get through this together? So I came up with hashtag Give a Sister a Hug. And I know we can't hug, but we can always give that word of encouragement. I send out daily, I do daily little message, just to let them know that they're not by themselves. They're not alone in this. I think my last post was about being grateful. I have, like, my girls' night, a couple of my friends, like Kim and and Jennifer, have been very supportive. We get on there and we talk about sex during quarantine. We have girls' night. We talk about everything, because we have to find our way of getting our mind off of what's going on right now.
Right.
And that's what I wanted. I didn't want us to focus on all the time this corona. Let's focus on something fun. We can still have fun. Like, let's not forget about our fun part of our life.
Right.
And also, just to show that you have other girls, we going through the same thing. And I also did, like, this show about investment.
Okay.
And I felt like that was some of us might want to invest. I started investing. So I had one of my friends to come on to talk about investment. I had another young lady who does Sus, You're Not Crazy. She talk about PTSD too. So I kind of provide, like, I want my platform to be about give other sisters other information besides just being alone. You know, have them to recognize PTSD because everybody don't know it. Have them
Right.
to think about, let's start investing while we sit home. And if you have the funds, let's invest. You know, let's, see, we have single moms that may need some extra money. You can do investment. And just that for others, think for ladies, just for us to have fun and not to put all our focus on Corona.
Right.
Because if we focus on Corona, we will be all in a straitjacket.
Right. Anybody who's watching, I'm trying to pin Erica's information. Y'all have to bear with me. I'm not like IG live savvy. I just put it in the box. I'm trying to click on it. Somebody told me in the past, like, you just hold it. I'm holding it. It's not pinning. So if anybody can figure out how to pin that, like, I wanted to pin it so everyone has information for our page, but I'm like, I can't figure out how to do it. But now it's echoing all of a sudden. But I want to, hey Courtney, but I want to give everybody information. Is it echoing on your end?
No.
Oh, okay, okay. So maybe it's just me. Good. So anybody just typing if it's echoing, maybe it's just me. So I know like you're doing to give a sister a hug. So give me some information for everybody that's watching. When is your next book going to be released? I know you gave everybody the
Um,
background of how it's being released.
well,
But
I haven't right now I'm still waiting on the lady who's editing my book. I have chapter 1 through 3 already, and I did a short reading on chapter 1 already that's on my YouTube page. So if you want to go check out chapter 1, is on my YouTube hashtag give a sister a hug on my, that's my YouTube page. I did a short reading on there just to give everybody just a little snippet of what's coming for Sister I Got Your Back. But I'm hoping pretty soon. She's pretty good at getting the books the information to me. But I also did a photo shoot, and what I did was I wanted it to be a picture of me and my godchild where she's younger and she's a teenager. And we actually, I love the pictures, and I haven't released them yet, but that's gonna be a picture that I'm gonna have on my book because it shows that, two girls were holding hands and I got your back.
okay.
So that's why, yeah.
So give everybody a background about your business because I know like you have a music background.
Yeah,
So
like
tell everybody how you got started.
I actually started off with my To the Max records. That's my record label. I started off with my record label. I actually had my ex on there as an artist. And I started working with my business partner Yvonne. We have did a lot of stuff together as far as music wise. I also have a radio station that's for indie artists that's just coming out, and they needed somewhat a platform. So I do have a radio station. Everything is To the Max Records. And that's how I started off, and I kind of branched off on podcasts because I'm like, what else can I do? I don't want to do music anymore. I want to do something else that's for me. So I started doing podcasts. And I was like, oh Lord, I found my niche, something I like. I like to talk. My job, I actually work at the convention center. I talk there. So I'm like, okay, I found something else to do that I love to do, talk. So I have a podcast. It's called To the Max, Let's Talk About It, which is for guys that have their own business. I have To the Max Girl Talk, which is for ladies that have their own business. And on there, we provide an interview, and we do press release for 90 days, which is the international press release, and it's $90. And then I also have the journey back from domestic violence, which on there I have a couple of shows on there where I have a couple of ladies that talk about their story of being in domestic violence, and I actually have Kim, who has Quality Day Foundation. She talks about her organization on there. And then I have the journey back, the journey love and relationships. And the journey love and relationship is basically everything about love and relationship. I had a show on there talk about sex on the first night, uh, which that was crazy because my brother actually did that one, and his interview was funny. I was like, yeah. So it was fun for me and him to do that. And he was like, girl, I'm not answering those questions from you. You my sister. I was like, look, answer the question. But it was really good. So love and relationships, we do everything. So I even did for a while a segment about with different people that experienced the coronavirus. They tell their story, how they went through it, if they was tested positive and all that. So that was on there. I did that a while for on there. So podcast is my thing because I like to talk. So, and then I branched off. You know, I have my own book. I have one book out already, The Journey, which is my life story. I talk about my life. I talk about how I couldn't read. I stopped reading on my mama with asthma. So I kind of touched on a lot on a journey because I felt like I had to share that. I never, when I say never told the story about me not being able to read, nobody knew that about Erica because that was something that Erica didn't talk about because actually I was ashamed of that.
Yeah.
Like I was really ashamed. And then my mom was like, I think you should tell somebody, like write it. And I was like, but Ma, I don't want people to look at me like that. And when I say I got good feedback off the book, and people thought it was like my journal, and I was like, my journal, wow, okay, all right. But I felt good of sharing my story that I couldn't read because it's other people out there that experience different things. I had asthma. I stopped reading. I was in and out of school. Like I couldn't read. I couldn't comprehend, but I was able to keep going. I was even going to tutoring in the 11th grade. And nobody knew that because that was something that I kind of hid, you know. So I was always ashamed of it, but I was like, I gotta tell my story. Like, and once I told my story, I felt so good about it, and I got good feedback on it, which I was very excited about. I was scared, but I was excited. I talked about my different relationships that I went through. I talk about one of our domestic violence and abandonment. You know, my last relationship, Lord, it was horrible.
Yeah.
When I say horrible, it was horrible. Like, I got baptized. I just recently got baptized, which that kind of changed the whole lot for me too. So I shared a lot of information that I felt like somebody needed to hear the story.
Definitely.
And I was okay with that. So it's been a journey for Erica. Like even, you know, I shared the story of my dad passing, being in my house caught a fire.
Yeah.
I was graduating, I was working on my bachelor's and my house caught a fire and my mama couldn't walk at all.
Yeah.
So, you know, sharing those different stories just to show that, and the journey basically to show people that you never give up. Don't give up on yourself because you just never know where your strength comes from. And believe me, going through all of that, I'm not even sure how I did it. Like I was like some mornings I would be so tired going to work. I had just started my job at the convention center and my mama took sick. So I left work. I was like, I gotta go. My mama more important than y'all.
Yeah.
Like I gotta go. But the thing was I must say, everybody have been very supportive, very supportive. So and when I got baptized and getting back into church, I was like, it was God. You know, like that's who got me through all these times. Like, you know, my mama, when my daddy died, my mama got really sick. And I was on the steps crying in my apartment building. I was like, what's going on? Like, I just lost my daddy and now I'm losing my mama. Like, it's just been one thing after another. But one thing is I always kept my head up and I still did it. Like, I got through it, you know, no matter what. And look at Adrena, my surgery. I just had surgery too. In the mix of all that, in October I had surgery. I worried big time about having surgery because I didn't have nobody to take care of my mama. I didn't even much have nobody to bring me to the surgery. And I called Adrena. She was like, girl, don't worry about it. We gonna get there. I was like, I was worrying about all that because I didn't have nobody to take care of me. But at the end of the day, like I did it. And I'm like, girl, you crazy. And sometimes I'm like, girl, you is nuts. Like I did it. But I never gave up on myself. Like never. even when it looked like dark at the end of that tunnel, I was like, oh girl, you was not gonna make it. But
Right.
I got up every morning, did it.
Mm-hmm.
Even during my weight loss journey,
Mm-hmm.
being diagnosed with diabetes, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh Lord, I was 400 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, how in the hell? But I did it. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
like it was just something like, I'm not gonna let this beat me.
Right.
And that's where
Right.
I'm at today. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I go through my storms, but I'm like, I'm not letting this beat me. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
get through this. It's gonna be hard,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm getting through this. But the whole
Right.
thing is that I try to encourage people, never give up on yourself, because if you give up on yourself, everybody around you gonna fall. And
Right.
my domino effect behind me, my mama, my brother, my
Mm-hmm.
nephew,
Mm-hmm.
I fall, my little domino effect, just they're going down.
Right.
But at the same time, they all keep me encouraged. They all keep me going.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they just keep me going. I'm like, okay, I gotta get up. And some mornings I want to lay in the bed
Right.
and be like, screw it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, no, we gonna get up and we gonna do this.
Now, I know you said one of the ways that you cope, with your anxiety is to meditate and everything.
Hmm.
So, what's your routine? Like, do you have like a routine to stay positive? Because, like it is when people go through ups and downs and just having a lot to do. Like, we all have some days, where we feel like we may want to give up. And
Give
I
up.
feel like sometimes just stress and fatigue, like you literally physically feel it, you know what I'm saying? And it weighs you down. So, we
Yeah.
all have those moments. What, like, do you have like it's a 100% go to, like whenever you feel like that may be coming on, like if you may feel like some negativity is coming on, I just feel like that stress
Feeling
is ready to hit you, yeah, like
I
do you
have to
have like a go to to just
I have
snap
to
out
tell
of
my
that mood?
mama, I tell mama, look, give me a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Just just give just give me a minute. Like, I have
Mm-hmm.
to go and leave and shut my door
Mm-hmm.
and just turn the lights off.
Mm-hmm.
And I just lay there
Mm-hmm.
because I have to get it together. And music
Mm-hmm.
is my thing too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I not only I was into music, but I
Mm-hmm.
love music. Like,
Mm-hmm.
my ex introduced me to all kind of music. Music, I thought I listened to Beethoven. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
I'll set up in on some nights. I might set up in the house in the living room at my computer desk and just listen to Beethoven. Or I'll just sit on the sofa and
Mm-hmm.
just listen. That kind of helps me too, because I find music help you, and people wouldn't believe music really will calm your
Oh,
life,
yeah,
your
music
nerves. Like,
heals. I just did a shirt because I was having a moment like maybe 3 4 weeks ago, and I had did a post. That's why, like, I hate Facebook. I feel like Facebook kind of it's
it's the
like
devil.
bait. Yeah, it's bait to like get to you. So like I was having a moment one day and my anxiety was high, so I had wrote a personal post, which I did. I didn't delete it, but I just changed the privacy on it because I was like, let me, girl, get out this negativity. But anyway, when I posted it, so people was checking on me, messaging me, calling, texting. I'm like, damn, it wasn't that serious, but people just like checking on me, whatever. And right, face devil. It is face devil for real. I hate Facebook. But
That
one
shit.
of my friends, she was just like, well, what did you do later? I said, well, I threw on some music and I felt better actually. And I cooked.
Mm,
I don't cook too often lately, and I cooked and I put on the music and I felt fine. So music really is therapeutic. That's what made me do a shirt afterwards that said "Music Heals" because it just really
it
weighed
does.
on me. And I have those moments where I have like a specific playlist that I listen to when I'm stressed out. Because even maybe last week or something, my daughter was like, "Oh my God, you playing that Toni Braxton song again? Like I thought you had got off that song. Like it's like an old song." It's just like whenever I play it, it's like it calms me down. Or I'll listen to certain gospel songs. Like my music list is all over the place. Like if someone listened to it, they'd be like,
What's wrong?
really, like it's stuff from the 80s. It's just random stuff, okay? Like, and it'll
I
be like the
I
craziest song,
love
and then
music
it's a
too.
gospel song next. It's just all over the place.
I like music, but I also like to lay in my bed and just quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I
Mm-hmm.
want to hear myself think sometimes.
Right.
Like, it's just crazy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I just lay there. Like, I'll just lay there just to try to get it together, because
Yeah.
sometimes if you don't, your mind will run wild.
Right, right.
I'm like,
For
oh,
real.
that is,
Like I don't mind. Like you have all this time, to be negative, in my opinion. And I feel like energy is contagious. So like when you
it
start
is.
having a down moment, it's literally an ugly thing. Like it makes you feel ugly, it makes you unhappy, and it's a dark thing. And it's like you gotta snap out of it,
Yeah, people
quickly.
really fall into depression.
Oh
Like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have to take that time, because sometimes when I'm overwhelmed, and I can get overwhelmed so easy, especially when my mama's sick, it's like
Mm-hmm.
everything just go crazy. And when
Yeah.
having those days with her legs, it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, so everything kind of, and I tend to snap. I'm not going, like, I
Mm-hmm.
tend
Yeah,
to,
we not perfect.
right.
We all have
I have,
moments.
I have to walk away and
Mm-hmm.
just go have my time to get my mind together to where I can be positive for her, because she's
Right.
not always feeling positive. And one time a while back, my mama had started having so much of pain to where my mama was falling into a little slight depression, because
Mm-hmm.
she didn't know what was going on. We didn't know what was going on.
Right.
And that kind of took a toll of our relationship, because we was distant, because we wouldn't even talk for a while, because
Yeah.
I was snap, she was snap. I'm strong
Mm-hmm.
mind, I'm a strong
Right.
headed somebody, and
Mm-hmm.
she's the same way. So we two bulls going at each other. So
Mm-hmm.
it had took until her doctor was able to find out what's going on, and we was able to get back to that place. Whereas me and my mama, we strong minded, but we two of the opposite people. My
Mm-hmm.
mama is so antisocial.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not talking about bingo, she ain't having time for you. Whereas me, I'm very all over the place like my daddy, and she don't want to hear all that.
Mm-hmm.
But we very strong willed people. Like, if she says she's not doing it, that's what she's not doing. And at being 70 years old, that's the
Yeah.
fight that I have with her, and especially when it come down to exercising, doing her
Mm-hmm.
therapy. That is, we fight. We have to have
Yeah.
a fight, but I
Mm-hmm.
have to disconnect, because all of that started to take take over sometimes. So I have to disconnect, and that means disconnect meaning give me time, shut my
Mm-hmm.
door, and I
Yeah.
just lay in quietness,
Mm-hmm. I
because
know
I
me
gotta get my mind
personally.
together.
Right. I know me personally, like with the situation with my mom, I just felt like, well, there was a lot of family stuff that took place after her
Right.
getting sick. I think like when family emergencies happen, sometimes like, you know,
And nobody want to communicate.
yeah, things go disarray, and I'm being real, like my family was all over the place. And
My
I
brother
found
get like
myself
that.
dealing with a lot of anger behind it. Like it was like really, really bad. Like I was like infuriated. And I was like, I really had to refocus. First when she got really sick, and obviously it's quarantining, and that was when the virus was insane. It was like stay in your
Right.
house situation. I had to really disconnect as well, because if I had a thought about it all day long, I really wasn't going to be able to function. So I had to like get my mind right, literally. Then
Hmm.
after she came home, there was still like some family things going on. Sometimes we don't know how to act right when an emergency happens. And it really was affecting me. Like I'm not lying, I was like really angry. So I actually started seeing a therapist over it. Like it's virtual, because I was like, you're not gonna see me in your office, but like
Right.
we have virtual sessions so I could talk
Hmm.
about it, because I had to get it out. And one thing I want to say to people, what I learned when I started talking to the therapist about some stuff going on in my family, you got to watch who you get advice from, because some things you really do need to either speak to your pastor or a professional. So in
Somebody,
my
not your
situation,
family.
correct, or not your friends either, because here's the thing. Let's say Jane going through some problems, right? Jane go
Hmm.
get advice from Sally. Sally got a toxic situation going on. She's dysfunctional. What
Right.
advice is Sally going to give Jane?
Jane.
Okay. So when I talked
Nothing.
to the therapist about the situations with my family and the anger I experienced, he really broke it down the way I needed. And after one of the sessions, I thought to myself, now so and so was trying to encourage me to deal with the dysfunction, but they
Yeah, when
probably have
you shouldn't
dysfunction
even
going
deal
on
with it,
too,
yeah.
right? So that's just I know that's a sidebar comment, but you know, in the past episodes that I've had with the Q-Chat, I always tell people, look, if you need to seek any type of professional help, do it. Don't worry about what someone says. But that's just something that it dawned on me when I started talking to him about the anger I was dealing with my family, and just being upset and feeling like there's nothing I could do. I just realized, like, you gotta watch who you let pour into you.
Right. Okay. I went to therapy myself because for a while I felt like, and I felt like my mom would care more about my brother. But I had to, and then a lot of it was, I was like, I don't understand that. Me and my mama used to fuss about that all the time. So I'm like, you care about this food crunk, you know, like, what's wrong? And I had to go to the therapist and talk to the therapist, and he was like, you know why your mama care about your brother? And he broke it down. He was like, you on the right path. You doing what you supposed to be doing. Whereas your brother, and at the time my brother was in jail, my brother was incarcerated, and he was like, he not. So she needs to put time into him because you fine. And he was like, I have to deal with that. He said, what you dealing with is normal for a girl, because I deal with it with my daughter, because I focus on my son, because my son need more of my attention. So it's nothing personal. It's just that she needs to put her time into him, because he not doing what she's happy with. And I couldn't, I was like, I'm not understanding that. He was like, you would never gonna understand that. That's a parent thing. Until you become that parent, you'll understand. But what you need to know is, she's happy with your progress, but she's not happy with his. And I was like, okay, then, all right, that's fine. I was like, okay, let's deal with the next problem. My mama is a chronic pain. She's in pain 24 hours a day. And like the doctor said, like the therapist tell me, he was like, she's not gonna listen to what you have to say. What you have to say is not more important. She's a chronic pain person. Somebody that's in pain 24 hours a day, that's all they want to focus on is their pain. They don't want to focus on you. So he gave me things to do and how to deal with it. So it was pretty easy for me to deal with it, because at first I was like, why? You know, like, she just wouldn't listen to me or whatever. So I was able to deal with it. So now when she's having her time up in her pain, when she's having those days, I kind of be there for her. Like, okay, then just be there and listen. Like he said, just listen. That's all it takes. Because she's a person that's in pain 24 hours a day. With rheumatoid arthritis, she's in pain 24 hours a day. So just give her that time to listen. I'm like, well, she not listening to me. He was like, because you're not in pain. She's in pain. And they're going to focus more on their pain than anybody else or anything around them. So just give her that listening and I try everything that he told me to. And I think that me and my mama communicate better when she's in pain, just by listening. And then she finally opened up to tell me that it's not that she was ignoring me. She just was focusing on her pain. Well, I couldn't see that at the time. So going to therapy really helped me too. Like,
it does help.
It helped me to find myself after my ex walked out. I never been in a situation of being abandoned, because my mom and my dad was together 30 years. So I didn't see abandonment. And that was like something hard for me to deal with. So dealing with abandonment, learning to love me, and knowing that nothing's wrong with me, is something wrong with that person. So I find that therapy is a good way, a good outlet. I try not to seek information from other people, especially my brother. Oh, girl, I love him to death, but he always want to be a therapist. I was like, you need to stop. Don't give nobody your advice at all.
I learned that particularly with this situation, because I'm like, I'm getting advice that I know is BS, and I have to think about it. I'm like, I don't know what these people I'm talking to, honestly,
what they going
through. We all got two sides, and I'm like, you know what? They may be playing this role trying to advise me, but
helping themselves in the end.
They probably have some toxicity going on, or they put up with some nonsense. So they gonna, that's why I'm like, you really got to watch who you pour into. Like, you really literally have to protect your energy, your spirit, everything. Like it's fragile glass. You have to look at it that way.
With preachers, like, you have to worry about who you let preach to your soul. Like I don't let
I
all
don't
them
allow
different
everybody
preachers.
to pray over me.
Oh
I don't
no,
allow
like
everybody to pray
because
over me, over my
some people
children.
use that as a money thing. You know, like they don't.
And I can go on and on about that because I actually
That's
come from a religious family. I have some pastors in my family. I'm not going to get too deep in this live,
right.
but trust me, I already know. No. Not everybody wearing a collar robe is of God. So
Right.
I'm real funny about that. I'm like, I don't like just anybody praying over me, my children.
Because you might be giving me all your bad.
Exactly. Don't touch us. Don't do it. Like you don't have to pray for us. I'm good. I'll talk to God myself. Like and I'm not even trying to be funny, but you really gotta watch. You gotta protect your own anointing. Okay.
Yep,
You gotta protect it. I've been saying that a lot this week in those daily crown jewels. Like you better protect your anointing. I'm telling you, because you'll let that wrong person in your mind.
Let me go to
in your
God.
life.
Let me go knock on God's door. I don't want you to go.
Exactly.
You might say the wrong thing on my behalf.
Right. Thank you. Exactly. You may be praying for my downfall. So it's like, I don't need certain people to pray for me. I really don't. Like,
I'm
don't
going to go
speak
knock
over my
on the door
life,
for
nothing.
myself.
Just watch me from a distance. I'm good. You know?
Right. I'm going to go knock on God's door myself. I don't want you to go. I'm going to go myself. Right. Like, you gotta be careful of that.
You got to watch yourself, you know? So just barreling back. So I have two last things I want to ask you before we end everything. So I think I'm going to save the fun question for last. So, but before I ask you the fun question, before we end it, because I don't want this to cut us off, because we started at 7 on the dot. So just everyone that's listening, and I know people, I see the hearts and everything. I'm so happy people are like,